So I could have written a check to the customer for $53,000 up front and told them goodbye and been in the same position I am today. I'm sure if you've been in a construction business long enough, or even a customer standpoint, you've probably had some bids that came in and they were 50% or 30% less than the average price or the price that you received otherwise. And a lot of times you know in your soul that the price is just, it's not correct, and you know that the contractor, the subcontractor probably messed up, probably didn't see something or calculate something. On those times, on some unrealistic pricing, either the customer or the general contractor, you have to realize that yes, you can legally get that person in a legal agreement and start the project, but it's not going to go very well. That person's going to run out of money and realize it at a later date. And I mean, this is a very, very common thing that happens. And so it's just not wise in the beginning. If you see a price that is way too low, you really need to say something, because the relationship's not going to go very well. The subcontractor or contractor is not going to make a lot of money. The project's going to go very slow, and the two parties are not going to be happy with each other at the end. So I've actually, unfortunately, lived this in part of my business at times. I remember bidding a project that was at least $950,000 worth of a project, but I only bid close to $800,000 or so. And so at the end of the project, I ended up on the books. I was behind $53,000. So I could have written a check to the customer for $53,000 up front and told them goodbye and been in the same position I am today. I've lived that life, so I could speak on it, so I know. And so, if in a perfect world, had I known that, I would have not taken the job for that price. But I just think that, when the customer knows and they have other prices that are for the 950 and above, I really think it's an obligation for someone to say, hey, I think you forgot something. Or, same thing with a subcontractor is to say, hey, I think you missed several items because this just isn't even close to the price that it should be. And and I know contractors and subcontractors have a responsibility to know what you're doing and be a professional. But we're all human beings and people make errors, and I just think it's bad business to allow someone to start a job when you know the price is 30% of what it should be. I think everyone really knows in the back of their head. And if they allow that sort of thing to happen, and there's an error, it's not somebody you really want to do business with. And I really think it's just, at the end of the day, contractors, subcontractors, you need to do your homework to make sure your numbers are right. You don't want to overcharge people and be scared of everything, but you just want to make sure that you count all your quantities and lay everything out so you know what your job actually costs. And then likewise, if you see the customer has a set of drawings for you, and then all of a sudden something changes and you have way less work to do, I think it's a moral obligation to give a rebate, to give money back, to let them know, like, hey, look, we started off with this, there was a decrease in this large scope of work, here's some money back. Because I think that goes a long way on both sides, for trust and for in the future for them to know that you're going to treat them right.